and welcome back to the channel. My name is Leslie Ann and I'm a landscape architecture designer living in the New York area. It's been a year since my last post and a lot has happened. I ran the New York Marathon wearing sandals last November, traveled to a foreign country, got my drone pilot license, did 6 months of Zone 2 training, and cut my hair short. This episode is all about daily life in New York. My boyfriend and I just got back from a brief 4th of July holiday, so we're catching up on chores and swimming to relax sore muscles. Some people ask why I moved to New York, and to be honest, the answer is complicated. But one short answer is that I wanted to live a pedestrian-friendly lifestyle. I grew up in an environment designed for cars, and I sit in front of a computer all day for work. Of course, I appreciate all the opportunities I've been given, so to balance a sedentary life, I use the city as a playground. Here I walk, hike, dance, explore, run, swim, kayak, climb, sail, and sometimes even ski. I've always had a good relationship with fruit and vegetables, but when I started moving a lot more, especially in marathon training, eating plants made a lot more sense. Of course, they're great for fiber, vitamins, and minerals, but with all the mileage I was doing, I needed nutrient-dense, hydrating, anti-inflammatory food that digests well and has a domino effect on my daily schedule. Eating plant-focused meals meant I could have a regular bowel movement in the mornings, so I could run on time, get to work on time, sleep well on time, and repeat the routine to achieve my goals. My goals vary from running for charity, having a clear head so I could perform well at work to pay off student loans, or have positive energy to boost up my friends. There's so much I could say about linking food with movement, recovery, and purpose, so if you'd like me to make a video, please let me know in the comments. After frozen yogurt, I said goodbye to my boyfriend and started walking home. It's a 30-minute trip, and at this point, I had already been on my feet for 30 minutes. By the time I got home, an hour had passed without noticing it. Some days I'll bike or take the train back, but tonight the sunset was beautiful, and it was high tide, which meant lots of fish and lots of birds on the hunt. Living in a pedestrian-friendly environment means I could do multiple things simultaneously. I can get exercise naturally while listening to a podcast, utilize the food I ate, and commute home to prepare for the work week. I think winding down and preparing for the week is the unsung hero of our lives. It deserves as much attention as its flashier sibling, the daytime hours. if not even more, because it's the first domino in the line of dominoes that fall upon each other. Here, the goal is to prioritize 7 hours of sleep or more to have a less stressful morning and have energy to survive Monday. Tonight, I only have 2 hours before I need to sleep, so I'll spend the first hour unpacking my bag, doing laundry, and setting up my kitchen. Here I've unpacked my travel bag and stored it away on the right side of my closet, where I've organized my travel gear and athletic wear. On the left side is my summer capsule wardrobe. It's set up for both work and travel, so tonight I'm washing the clothes I brought on the trip because I plan to wear a few pieces during the week. I use sheet detergent because it's compact and comes in a recyclable cardboard box, which is better for the environment. Before washing machines were invented, laundry used to be done by hand and would take a super long time, so let's appreciate the people who invented them. While the laundry is running, I like to stack tasks that have similar time frame, like loading of the dishwasher, which is another convenience I'm grateful for. The compost container you see in the foreground is flat and long because the shape makes the best use of the space in the freezer. Since I live in a studio apartment, I found freezing my compost prevents odors and pests. When it's full, I take it to the composting bin at the local community garden or at City Hall. While the dishes are running, I'm restocking the fruit basket that I like to graze on when I'm bored or stressed. I have the habit of impulsively buying new food because I forget, so it helps a lot. I'm experimenting with different types of baskets right now, so these metal ones will get switched to something else. I love to cook, but since I live alone and I'm a small person, the fridge is way too big for what I need. As a result, I used to overbuy groceries. Then I'd feel guilty for wasting food, so I'd freeze it. Then the freezer ends up getting too full. To manage the vicious cycle, I reorganized the refrigerator shelves and put produce in clear bins closer to eye level. The bins are not as deep as the fridge, so there's less chance of overfilling it. If you want to learn more about this topic and other systems that influence it, please let me know in the comments below. About 30 minutes to an hour before bed, it's time to wind down by turning off fluorescent lights and switching to incandescent ones. I also draw the blackout curtains because the street lights spill into the apartment. There are studies that incandescent lights give off an infrared wave, the glow similar to what fire emits. For centuries before electricity and before fluorescent lights, which emit a blue wave similar to sunlight, people used candles in fireplaces to light their homes. This cues the circadian rhythm to relax. When sleep pressure is high enough, the body will naturally succumb to sleep. There are other factors that influence sleep, like how much melatonin your body produces, eating a light meal 2 to 4 hours before bed so insulin levels are lower, meditation, and cooling the room to 60-ish degrees. If you'd like to learn more, I recommend the book Why We Sleep: Unlocking the Power of Dreams by Matthew Walker. I'll link this in the show notes below. I chose an east-facing apartment because I want to become a better morning person. Being a morning person doesn't come naturally to me, but since I'm focused on my career, I'm hoping this strategy will help me in the long run. Since my apartment is quite small, it was tempting to buy a twin-size bed and push it up against the wall to maximize open space. However, according to Feng Shui, if I wanted to have a better love life, it's recommended to buy a bigger bed and put nightstands on both sides for better access. It also makes fixing the bed much easier. These days, I drink athletic greens to wake up my digestion. I drank this while training for the New York Marathon in 2023 and noticed more energy, mental clarity, and digestive health, so I stuck with it.
To be, you can't deny it all.
I like to record my walking time on the Apple Watch because it's calibrated with a training app that I use to program my workout goals. All the time on my feet adds up, so if my training doesn't account for commutes, I could risk overtraining and burnout, which I've done before. To be honest, most of the crazy things in my life happens in the office. What I do is very creative and focused on problem solving. People here are very diverse, but the work is highly collaborative, and despite the tough times, we actually have a lot of fun. I'm quite limited in what I can film, but I'll do my best to give you an idea of what we do in future videos. I like to keep my desk clutter-free, but it wasn't always like that. Before the pandemic, I used to have piles of paper, mugs, tchotchkes, everything. I thought if I had a messy desk, I'd look like a hard worker and deserve respect. To be honest, it did the opposite. My boss complained about the mess, and having to make decisions on how to deal with it made me feel overwhelmed. It was only after working remotely during the pandemic did I learn what to do. If you'd like me to share my story, please let me know in the comments. Now it's time to wind down. The clothes I left out to dry last night are done, so I'll put them away and get started on dinner. It's important that I put things away immediately and declutter frequently because all spaces in my apartment blend into each other. When something is out of place, it becomes spatially and visually inconvenient. Tonight I'm making a Korean-inspired vegetable bean paste stew. In 2 to 3 cups of water, add garlic, the whites of a green onion, roots are optional, kombu. Here I'm speeding up the video because I was getting more ingredients in the fridge, so I'm just gonna let this boil until I get the rest. Next add rehydrated shiitake mushrooms and their water, pre-chopped daikon radish for sweetness, katsuobushi for a deep umami flavor, 2 to 3 tablespoons of doenjang. It's like miso, but it's coarser, and it's usually added earlier in the cooking process instead of the end, like miso soup. Next add gochujang, and then you could also add leftover ripe kimchi and their juice to give it extra depth, but I didn't have any at the time, so I added napa cabbage and the green part of spring onion for freshness. You might notice tonight's dinner is high protein, lower carb, and in the morning, the macros are vice versa. When I sleep, my body releases a hormone called human growth hormone, which utilizes protein to build muscle and make tissue repairs. My body also has the tendency to store carbs as fat at night because of elevated insulin levels. If I was backpacking the next day or running a marathon, I wouldn't mind the carbs as much. However, since I'm older and sit at a computer most of the time, the active and passive exercises I do daily uses up part of the calories consumed, and eating more plants, nutrient timing, managing stress, sleeping well, and just being alive takes me the rest of the way. If you would like to learn more about any of the topics in this episode, please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for sticking until the end, and I'll see you in the next one.